can!
It's over!
He's done it again! Unbelievable!
Oh, straight into the roof of the net.
Nice one.
Straight down the middle. So a good performance from both teams here today.
Hi, I'm Rupha Ramani. You're watching Firstpost. Let's get the show started. Right, on the show today, international stars came down to throw some of that shine on domestic cricket. Top Indian cricketers have taken centre stage at the Vijay Hazare tournament, but we focus on Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli, the disparity in their comebacks and how it is all leading up to a very nostalgic farewell from the sport. The Ashes drama doesn't seem to end. Reports have now come out of England players going off the rails in Noosa, drinking it up ahead of that third test. Ben Duckett is caught on camera in an embarrassing clip. What is the England camp saying? What has the mood been like in that dressing room? And Lionel Messi's tour got over a long ago, but it continues to be in the headlines. Now, while what India gained from this is all up for debate, what is certain is what Messi took back with him. And it was not just memories. But first up, Sports 360. Starting with cricket, Indian women's team have taken a 2-0 lead over Sri Lanka in the 5-match T20 series. The women in blue beat Sri Lanka by 7 wickets. After restricting the Lankans for 128, Shafali Verma scored 69 of 34 to win the match inside of 12 overs. India will look to seal the series in the next game. In news from Vijay Hazare Trophy, Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma returned to domestic cricket and guided their sides to big wins. Mumbai beat Sikkim by 8 wickets. Rohit Sharma scored 154 in that game, and in another match, Kohli scored 131 to guide Delhi to a 4-wicket win. On to football, Nigeria escaped a Tanzania scare at the AFCON. The Super Eagles registered a 2-1 win after a brave fight from their opponents. Tanzania equalized after Nigeria took a 1-0 lead in the 36th minute. Ademola Lookman then scored the winner. Over in English football, Arsenal have reached the League Cup semi-finals after a dramatic 8-7 shootout win over Crystal Palace. The match finished at 1-1 in regulation time. Goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga was Gunners' hero in the quarterfinal. Two international cricketers in Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. They're playing India's domestic tournament, the Vijay Hazare tournament, in two different cities, bringing a rather nostalgic end to the year. It's a sight we did not imagine same time last year, and as things stand today, a year on, you're looking at the last phase of what has been two glorious careers. So obviously, ardent cricket fans are more than aware of this, making these two domestic fixtures the most glamorous ones yet. And I haven't even started on what the biggest irony of it all is. But let's get to it. To see this one up, here's the biggest contrast in both the scenarios. Let's look at Jaipur first, where Rohit Sharma is playing. He and his state side Mumbai are up against Sikkim. The association had to wake up from their slumber, clean the stadium, clear the bushes and shrubs that had grown, and made sure the stadium would be fan fit for the game. In fact, the practice session alone on Tuesday gave enough indication of what to expect. It was chaotic, it was crowded and manic. The city that normally only comes alive during the IPL was buzzing. Rohit Sharma, he was mobbed as soon as he wrapped up his practice at the ground and tried to leave the stadium. Match day today, and the stadium was packed. There were thousands who gathered eagerly, bright and early in this wintry month just to catch a glimpse of their favourite Mumbai lad. Chanting his name out loud, the excitement was all around. Not so much within the Mumbai state team. Captain Shardul Thakur, in fact, an India player himself, said Mumbai and star power was nothing new, but for the opposition, this is closest that they could get to the real deal. And you could see their captain gushing while expressing just that before the match.
It is huge for us to compete against him and just be in his shadow, just be around him. If we can go back home and share this experience, it will definitely help more youngsters take up the sport.
So the scenes at the Sawai Mansingh were frenetic, chaotic, because for many fans to cricketers, all of them, this was an opportunity to see, talk to, play and rub shoulders with the legend who's clearly in the twilight of his career, who's only playing one format and whom you will rarely get to see travelling and playing as much. So while this is great for the game, it's been a logistical nightmare, which is when we come to Virat Kohli. His Delhi team was opening their campaign against Andhra. The match was in Bengaluru, Virat's IPL city, pretty much his second home, but not at the Chinnaswamy. The state government has taken this match out of the hands of the KACA. That's what they did. So a clash that would have attracted massive numbers was now being held behind closed doors at the BCCI Centre of Excellence. So no fans, no cameras, no public presence. And guess what? Both of them notched up hundreds, just like that, away from broadcast cameras and the like. A quiet match, pretty much like it would have been had there been no Virat Kohli in the mix. Two reasons, of course, for this happening, and glaring ones. One, the stampede that took place during RCB's victory parade in the city, leading to that stadium where 11 died. The government clearly does not want another such horrific episode to unfold, so best not to even flirt with that possibility and take the match completely out of Chinnaswamy. Make it a low-key event. And the reason too, what happened earlier last year in Delhi when Virat decided to play a Ranji game in preparation for the Test series against Australia. There was utter mayhem and it turned out to be quite a nightmare. But the bigger irony is this: neither of these two marquee matches were telecast. Two big stars playing domestic cricket after a long gap in what is clearly the last stage of their careers, one of them behind closed doors and there is no visibility. Almost seems poetic and nostalgic at the same time. This is pretty much how these two stalwarts of Indian cricket really started their careers. Away from all attention, away from any scrutiny and additional gaze. Quietly going about their domestic grind and commitments and waiting to make it big, strike it up there with the national side. The emotions running through both Virat Kohli and Rohit Sharma would have clearly been high. Maybe this is how it should be. The two quietly working away from all attention and camera crews, even as questions around their tenure, their longevity, on whether 2027, the World Cup, would be their last, continue to clamour and grow. Now, while this is apt in many ways, one thing is certain. They may be in the shadows, at least now, with fans trying to get a piece of them whenever they can, however they can, but their last hurrah will be loud, noisy, and all the more chaotic. The Ashes still has 2 tests left to be played, but the fallout from the third one is far from over, because what Adelaide saw wasn't just Australia claiming that urn, it exposed something far deeper inside English cricket. First, dismantling England's much-hyped baseball philosophy, and second, and perhaps most damaging one, this, reports of England players being involved in a drinking spree right before a must-win test match coming out, and supposedly stretched across a major part of a 9-day break. Can England really continue to call themselves the custodians of cricket after what has been a bruising series that isn't even over just yet? That title of custodians, of course, has always been self-proclaimed, but recent developments have made one thing certain. If promoting cricket means leading by example, then the founders aren't setting a very convincing one. Because over the last month, England have proved something brutally simple. Big talk doesn't win you matches. Discipline, preparation, and proper execution is what will. And England have failed on all 3 counts. In the first 2 tests, the narrative was still about cricket. Poor execution, questionable shot selection, a refusal to adapt to conditions at hand. But everything has changed now with reports of the Noosa trip surfacing. England spent 4 nights on Queensland's Sunshine Coast, and this wasn't spontaneous. The trip was scheduled before the series even began. England had a 9-day gap, and management believed it was the perfect window to unwind. The only problem, they were 2-0 down with a must-win game just around the corner. Now look, team bonding sessions, such getaways, get-togethers like this is all good in all fairness. It's good for the game, it's good for the team's spirit. At the international level, mental breaks like this and resets matter. They are essential. But what matters more is accountability, because this is the same English setup that has repeatedly downplayed bilateral series. Players who didn't consider tours to India important before the ICC Champions Trophy. Former cricketers calling marquee test series warm-ups for the Ashes. So not being level-headed has been a talking point. And what unfolded in Noosa has only made things far worse. Not exactly the image you expect from an international cricketer in the middle of a series that England is losing, and badly. Duckett wasn't alone. He's just the one caught on camera. And again, we aren't making this an issue of morality. It's just unfortunate now, and the optics is all wrong. We've seen how other sporting disciplines handle something like this. Marcus Rashford missed a Manchester United training session in January 2024 after nights out in Belfast. He was dropped, fined, publicly reprimanded. Pep Guardiola famously micromanages players' discipline. In 2016, he imposed strict curfews over getting intimate. Recently, he warned players to control Christmas celebrations. Gain weight and you lose your place. Now, of course, you need to know where the line is, because this isn't school and your coaches aren't supposed to act like the principal. But that's how elite sports work. England, by contrast, are fortunate their director wants to investigate this first.
We'll be looking into seeing what the facts are, as opposed to the things that have been embellished or elaborated on. If it's true that it became a stag do and people are out drinking all the time excessively, that's not acceptable.
Firm words, but then comes the words of the captain.
With the reports and everything circulating, how I handle this moment right now is the most important thing to me. The welfare of everyone in there, and probably certain individuals as well, is the most important thing to me right now.
Supportive, protective. And that's important too, especially when it comes from the captain. You want a leader who has your back. But here's the problem. Backing players is good leadership. Blindly shielding them instead of standing up to them at times, that's how standards slip away. Because what I've heard is that morale inside the England camp during the series has not been the best. Losses don't help, yes, but the dressing room is particularly not feeling it, despite the brave faces from Stokes and McCullum. And that's what happens when lines are crossed. Management defends, players double down, lessons go unlearned. England's bravado hasn't produced results. Not in Australia, not in ICC tournaments. This isn't about punishing players every time they lose. Losing is part of sport. But ownership, that should be non-negotiable. Until England's players accept responsibility, not just for performances, but for lack of professionalism, this cycle will be endless. Big statements before matches, big night outs before test matches, and crucial ones at that, and massive hangovers when reality hits. Right now, England aren't battling Australia, they're battling the consequences of their own culture. And unless that changes, Bazball won't just be paused, it will be remembered as a philosophy that spoke loudly, drank deeply, and delivered far too little. Because in elite sport, the hangover always comes. And England seems to be living through a very long one right now. Earlier this month, one of football's greatest ever, Lionel Messi, landed in India on what was billed as a historic, full-fledged tour. For fans, it was euphoria. For organizers, it was a commercial jackpot. But once the confetti settled, a question refused to go away. What exactly did India get from the GOAT tour? Now, that debate is still alive. So tonight, we flip the lens. If India is still counting its gains, what did Lionel Messi take back from India? From staggering cash to exclusive gifts and priceless memorabilia, the list is long. Was this tour just about the money, or did Messi walk away with something far bigger? Our next report tells you more.
Lionel Messi may have left Indian shores, but the buzz around his visit is far from over. And how could it be? one of the biggest sporting icons the world has ever seen, didn't just visit India, he embraced it. From packed venues to frenzied crowds, the spectacle was undeniable. And yes, it was also big business. The organizers cashed in, sponsors ran in, the ecosystem around the tour benefited. But that leads us to the obvious question. What did Lionel Messi take away from India? Let's be honest, Messi's presence doesn't come cheap. It comes with a price tag that few can afford. Reports suggest Messi earned 89 crore rupees from the India tour. That's roughly 10 million US dollars. For a short visit, that's a massive payout. And the cash didn't stop there. During his visit to Jamnagar's Vantara, Messi was reportedly gifted a Richard Mille watch worth $1.2 million. Luxury, exclusivity, prestige. By all parameters, this was a loaded trip for the footballer. So was this entire India visit simply about the money? Well, context matters. Because for Lionel Messi, earning $10 million isn't exactly a Herculean task. Reports claim Messi earns over $150 million from his MLS contract. That is roughly $60 million a year, around $5 a month, and $170,000 a day. And that figure includes his partnerships with broadcasters and sportswear giants. Add to that his global brand endorsements, business ventures, restaurants, and the money multiplies. For Messi, making $10 million is not a milestone, it's routine. From his MLS salary alone, he could earn that amount in about 2 months. Factor in endorsements, and realistically, it could take him less than 10 days. So no, this India tour was clearly not just about money. Because Messi didn't just leave with millions in the bank. He left with something money can't buy. One of the most priceless gifts imaginable, Sachin Tendulkar's iconic number 10 jersey. And not just any jersey, this was from Sachin's 2011 World Cup winning campaign. A relic of Indian sporting history, handed to the greatest footballer of this generation. And that wasn't all. Messi received Indian cricket jerseys, tickets to 2026 World Cup, participated in select kickoff sessions with young players, moments that go beyond contracts and checks. And perhaps the most symbolic gesture of all, a lion cub at Vantara named after him. A living tribute, a permanent connection. So what did Messi really take back from India? Yes, money. Yes, luxury. But also admiration, cultural reverence, and a reminder that in India, sporting greatness is worshipped, regardless of the sport. The larger question of what India gained from the Messi tour will continue to be debated. Legacy versus optics. Inspiration versus infrastructure. But one thing is clear. Lionel Messi didn't leave India empty-handed. He left richer in more ways than one. With cash in his pocket, yes, but also history in his suitcase. And a piece of India that will stay with him long after the tour headlines fade. Because it wasn't just a visit, it was an exchange. And that exchange will be talked about for a long, long time.
Time for last serve. Christmas is here, and as the holiday festivities have all started kicking in, even Santa Claus is burning some calories. Thousands of runners dressed as Santas and elves participated in a 5-kilometer race in Barcelona. Take a look. That wraps it up here on Firstpost. Of course, wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas. Thanks for joining us. Take care.
Want the facts?
The latest developments?
News that gets straight to the point.
Well, we've got all three just for you. This is Firstpost Live, a brand new show, your window into what really matters.
Don't miss it.
Firstpost now available in 9 languages on YouTube. English,
$36 trillion.
French,
Le FMI, comme
German,
Geschäftsführenden Direktor,
Hindi,
$30 trillion ka karjo.
Indonesian,
Pemerintah tanpa pemeriksaan.
Italian,
Skali radikali.
Japanese,
4 兆ドル以上も
Portuguese,
por causa do próprio balanço patrimonial.
Spanish.
Beautiful bill.
Go to Settings, click on Audio Track and select the language of your choice. Be the first to know what's happening around you in your first language. First Post.